The last 5 dragons in the world were surrounded by the evil Droon, and killing them would mean destroying the world. In this critical moment, one dragon held clear water to her chest, and instantly conjured a dragon gem. The other dragons quickly poured their magic into the gem, and handed it to the youngest dragon, Sisu. The very next second, they were engulfed by the Droon, and instantly turned to stone. Sisu didn't let anyone down. She unleashed a massive burst of energy from the gem to seal the Droon away. In the blink of an eye, 500 years passed. The dragon gem had been guarded by the Heart tribe for generations. A young girl named Raya was about to become the next chief and take over from her father to protect the gem. But during a tribal gathering, things took a disastrous turn. Namari from the Fang tribe pulled out an ancient scroll. She explained that after sealing the dragons, Sisu had been sleeping at the end of a river to show her goodwill. Namari even gave her necklace to Raya. To thank her, Raya decided to show her the dragon gem, but Raya never could have guessed. Namari would suddenly ambush her and kick her right to the ground. Turns out, everything she did was just a trick to earn Raya's trust and find the exact location of the gem. She then fired a flare gun, signaling the Fang tribe to move in. Seeing the flare, Raya's father knew something was terribly wrong. By then, the Fang warriors had already arrived, just as the gem was about to be stolen. Raya's father stepped in just in time. After a fierce battle, he finally managed to drive them back, but soon, the other tribes rushed in as well. They all wanted the gem to make their own tribe stronger. Raya's father tried to talk everyone out of fighting. He reminded them that 500 years ago, humans and dragons were the best of friends, but when the Droon appeared, disaster spread like a plague. Anyone who touched it was turned to stone. It wasn't until Sisu channeled the dragon gem that the Droon were finally sealed. Everyone who had been petrified was restored to normal. But sadly, the dragons didn't come back to life. Yet, after surviving the disaster, people didn't unite. Instead, they became greedy. They fought endlessly over the dragon gem, and so Kumandra was shattered into pieces. Raya's father hoped the tribes would stop fighting and rebuild Kumandra once again. But before he could even finish his words, a cold arrow struck him down. Wounded, he collapsed to the ground. Everyone swarmed in, desperately grabbing for the gem. During the chaos, the gem accidentally shattered. The sealed Droon were unleashed back into the world. Raya's father tried to use the shards to hold back the Droon, but everyone else just rushed in to fight for the pieces. Seeing the Droon multiplying at an alarming rate, Raya's father knew he was doomed, so he shoved the gem shards into Raya's hands and threw her straight into the river. He himself was completely consumed by the Droon and instantly turned into a stone statue. Raya was absolutely heartbroken, but she knew that finding Sisu was the only way to bring her dad back. In the blink of an eye, 6 years flew by. Raya had explored almost every river branch, leaving only the final destination. She soon arrived at the spot, but the riverbed was completely dry, with nothing left but the wreckage of a sunken ship. Still, Raya decided to give it a shot. She placed the scroll on the ground, set up the altar, and began the summoning ritual. As Raya chanted the ancient spell, the water beside her suddenly started flowing backwards. The water turned into floating droplets in the air and finally merged back together. Sisu, who had been asleep for 500 years, was finally awakened. Raya begged her to destroy the Droon and save her father, but the truth was, Sisu was actually the weakest dragon of them all. The dragon gem was conjured by her older siblings, and had absolutely nothing to do with her. But the moment she picked up a gem shard, she not only connected with the magic inside, but also inherited her sister's power of light. This meant that if they collected all the shards, they could restore the dragon gem and banish the Droon once again.
And bring my Ba back?
And bring all of Kumandra back.
And just like that, they set off on a quest to find the gem shards. After the gem shattered, it was divided among the 5 tribes: Fang, Heart, Spine, Talon, and Tail. The closest one was the Tail tribe. The place was packed with deadly traps, and one wrong step could cost you your life. Luckily, Raya was super agile and easily dodged every single trap. For Sisu, it was even a piece of cake. Just then, a bug landed in Sisu's hand, but unexpectedly, the bug let out a massive fart the very next second. They looked up and realized the walls were completely covered in explosive bugs. The two had no choice but to carefully squeeze through the narrow tunnel. Next, they entered a massive, empty room, but to protect the shard. The Tail tribe's chief had actually trapped himself to death in his own mechanisms. The moment Sisu grabbed the crystal, she instantly gained her sister's shape-shifting gift and transformed into a human girl in a flash. But before they could even celebrate, Namari and her people suddenly showed up. Turns out, she had been hunting for the shards all along, and to block the pursuers behind them, the girl detonated them all. The two quickly hopped on their pet and made a run for it. To evade Namari's chase, the pet plunged straight into the water. They then took a boat to the Talon tribe to hide from the Droon. The tribe built their entire city on water, protected by the sea. This place looked incredibly prosperous. Raya sneaked into the chief's house, only to find that the old chief had already passed away. The dragon gem shard had been taken by the new chief. Meanwhile, the chief was tricking Sisu into going out of the city. But the moment they stepped outside, the Droon rushed in. However, they were scared off by the glowing shard on Sisu. The chief forced Sisu to to hand over the shard, threatening to lock her outside if she refused. In a critical moment, Raya crashed through the door and snatched the shard right from the chief. The second Sisu got the shard, she unlocked the power of mist. Covered by the thick fog, they successfully escaped. Next, they arrived at the Spine Tribe, but without the ocean's protection, the entire tribe had been turned to stone. Only one survivor was left. Just then, Namari and her army tracked them down. To buy time for everyone to escape, Raya decided to duel Namari one-on-one. She ended up getting completely beaten up. Sisu saw this and instantly transformed into her true dragon form. She blasted a thick mist at the Fang soldiers and let out a mighty roar at Namari. Seeing a real dragon for the first time, Namari was left totally stunned. Raya and the others took the chance to escape back to the boat, having met a real dragon. The Spine Warrior handed over the fourth shard. This shard unlocked Sisu's water-controlling powers. After that, they headed straight for the Fang tribe. Meanwhile, Namari returned to Fang and reported Sisu's existence to her mother. She hoped to hand over the shard to make up for her mistakes, but her mother feared people would seek revenge on Fang once restored, so she flat out refused. The next day, Raya met up with Namari. Namari handed over the final Dragon Gem shard, thinking the mission was finally accomplished. Namari suddenly changed her mind again. For the future of the Fang tribe, she had to obey her mother's orders. Everyone was about to fight, but Sisu stopped them. She told Namari that the Drune were born from human suspicion. Only true trust between people could truly defeat them.
I trust you, Namari.
The wounded dragon plummeted off the cliff, and with the last dragon gone, the water sources began to dry up. Unhindered, the Drune went completely berserk and swarmed the city, and instantly started wreaking havoc everywhere. Fuming with rage, Raya stormed into the Fang tribe with her sword, determined to settle the score with Namari once and for all. Meanwhile, her friends grabbed the gem shards and helped the residents dodge the Drune's deadly attacks. In the heat of battle, Raya saw her friends fighting the Drune, and it instantly snapped her back to reality. She finally realized that hatred had completely clouded her judgment. She also knew she was partly to blame for Sisu's death. After calming down, she stopped fighting and ran to her friend's side to battle the Drune and save the trapped people. Seeing this, Namari joined the rescue team as well. But suddenly, a violent tremor struck, and Raya's entire crew fell into a deep pit. They were quickly surrounded by the Drune. They used the gem shards to hold them back, but as the Drune multiplied, the shard's power actually started to fade. Right then, Raya suddenly remembered Sisu's words. The Drune were born from the darkness in people's hearts, and only trust could truly defeat them. So, she suggested handing all the shards over to Namari, but nobody dared to trust her anymore. Determined to take the first step, Raya handed over her shard without a second thought. She chose to trust and instantly turned to stone. After a brief moment of hesitation, everyone else handed over their shards to Namari as well. Everyone chose to trust, and even as they turned to stone, they stayed united. Namari wanted to run away with the shards, but when she looked back and saw her friends turn to stone, a mysterious power suddenly surged from within her heart. In the end, she lived up to everyone's expectations and returned to their side, and pieced the broken shards back together. Then she stood with everyone and got petrified by the Drune. Just as the gem was about to lose its power completely, what happened the very next second? After a blinding flash of light, every single Drune was wiped out in an instant. The radiant light covered the entire land, and raindrops finally began to fall from the sky. Washed away by the rain, everyone came back to life. Everything was restored to its former vitality, and the dragons of the past were awakened one by one. They flew over the moat, circling endlessly. As the river water slowly rose, forming a magical pattern in the sky, Sisu, who had passed away, was resurrected from the whirlpool, and she finally reunited with her family. Raya also got to reunite with her father, and the two shared a tight, emotional hug. Her selfless devotion united the people back into Kumandra. This movie teaches us that suspicion is the beginning of destruction. Trust is the starting point of salvation. Prejudice builds high walls, but understanding can break down any barriers, and even imperfect heroes can grow.